So we just dive right into it here. We have 27 villager start for both players. That's Empire Wars for you, starting with 5 farms. Some on food, some on gold, 5 on gold apparently. And then you have actually 3 lumber camps working for you, so you start with a very solid economy. I think this plays into Burmese strengths here, because they are... yeah, if they can get to the arm buy, that's a good way, a solid way of taking map control. You could get to that castle quicker, get your castles up, and take map control with your strong, unique unit, or alternatives, or longswords, or whatever you feel like. So Burmese, interesting but potentially solid pick for Myzel here. You have mobility. The only thing you don't have is archers, and you don't really necessarily play archers on Empire Wars because you want mobility. But Myzel drops the range here, and he's up against, let's see, where he's up against slabs on the other side. And slabs, great eco. We see Aksel dropping the farms already, doesn't go into the walls here. We usually say people's dropping straight into the action, and Aksel is now with 3 military, that's scouts for his mobility and potential for attack here. Myzel is committing heavily into the walls here. I'm not sure if that's going to work out too well for him on an Empire Wars game mode here, because you really need army to defend as well. But there are some spears here to defend, and they also have that attack upgrade for free. So, or not attack upgrade, but that Burmese Civ bonus is that they get +1 attack for their infantry per age starting in feudal age. So you're looking at +3 infantry in the imperial age if you can get there with Burmese. Good value from Aksel to start here. He sends his 2 of his scouts forward, whereas the last one is committed to scouting the map, runs into some spears, but already got the villagers, so that's some value there right now. Consistent production from both players, but Aksel with 34 villagers, Myzel with 32, so that's a good start indeed. With splitting up the scouts as well. I think he noticed Myzel walling here, so he wants to keep his units active so he could delay the walls as much as possible. Slavs have fantastic infantry. They have a unique tech in the Imperial Age called Drushina that will have the infantry of yours deal splash damage or area damage. So Slavs champions some of the best in the games for that reason. But they also have a great food eco in faster working farms, so it makes it easier to mass up scouts on the field. Myzel is with some military as well. Let's see what Myzel is going for here. Going for spears. Is he going for archers? He is going for the Burmese archers. You don't see those a lot. Because Burmese, they do get crossbow, but not arbalest. They don't get thumbering. And they also, in the blacksmith tech tree, they don't get anything besides the feudal age armor. So you really don't want to play archers extensively as Burmese. Maybe for the feudal age, but yeah, you just almost never see it. So 5 scouts forward now for Aksel the Great. And yeah, Myzel with the quick walls behind her has the archers as well, getting some good hits in on the archers forward from Aksel. Actually, Aksel with the slabs archers here makes more sense. They get more upgrades on their archers and crossbow line. Although I believe slabs don't get arbalest either. So they're not playing units for the Imperial Age here already. Just going into the feudal age action immediately and making use of the best army combos they can get to. Having archers with fletching on the field certainly makes it easier to deny quick walls behind when the scouts try to break through, and Myzel's walling is being kind of punished here. Aksel is also on the way to the castle age, and with a 2 villager lead upon doing so. So seems to be in a great spot here. This hill is a nightmare for Myzel though, because he has a woodland right here, and it's just such a good place to make a siege push from for Aksel, if he can get to the gas stage and some strong Slav siege to push with as well. Slavs almost with a full siege tech 3, they have siege ram, they have Onager, maybe even siege Onager. Let's have a look here, siege Onager. Heavy Scorpion, only missing bombard cannon, so very strong siege tech 3 for Slavs. Myzel doing a good job here of keeping these Slavs, scouts and archers out, though. Amazing. Quick walls here, still going to be staying in the feudal age for a while longer, missing 500 food almost. Burmese farms can not compete at all with the Slavs' faster farming rate here. Little bit of a forward from Myzel, just a few spearmen here. Don't think it's going to be enough. These scouts could deal with the archers, but not the spears though, so Aksel would need some more of his ranged unit on the field here. He is in the cast stage though and could get to crossbow or something, or even his own infantry. Lots of options here. Knights now in the mix for Aksel. He has +1 defense already, so he could now contest the spearmen, no problem, even if they have that extra attack, and now +2 since forging is in. But with knights it's also going to be easier to find a breakthrough point here. Let's have a look at Aksel's eco here, see if he can... he could even drop some forward siege if he wants to. I think he might be wanting to play the eco game here though, with 1 TC to secure this wood line for sure. But here comes some builders to move forward as well, and the siege workshop. Okay, I guess the idea here is to hide it away and not drop it obviously on the hill, but I'm surprised not to see the siege workshop going up on the hill actually, because then you'd have such an easier time to push out some mangonels and use the hill damage to your advantage. +2 defense for the knights coming in, and consistent double stable knights production for Aksel the Great here now. He's with 10 attacks, no attack upgrades just yet. He needs to break through houses and stone gates here, or stone gates here to get through, but you could also bring a ram to the field and try and break through the palisades and houses here for some raiding potential. A couple of scouts on this side, and Myzel is stonewalling, wants to play this really defensively to set up for the longer game with Burmese here. I'm not sure what Myzel's plan is here though, as he is with 12 on gold total and 12 on food and 16 on wood, and he keeps making archers, and Burmese archers, they are lacking all of the armor besides fuel, so it really doesn't make sense for the extended Castle Age play here. There's the mangonel, it's out, and that's going to make the entrance a lot easier. You can't really quick wall behind the mangonel just like that. Myzel still missing lots of stone for a castle, otherwise I would have suspected he might want to go into castle and iron by here. He's floating a lot of resources, not really using them though. But Burmese, classified as a monk and elephant civilization. Surprise, surprise, Myzel is going for triple monastery monks here. So of course, once he gets the monks out, he will have an easier time dealing with enemy knights in small numbers, because he could simply go for mass conversions. Logan, if you don't like my casting, then maybe you should find some other place to look. I talk as I want to, and I have found my style, so deal with it. That might seem a little harsh, but I don't see why you would bother with how I talk. Scorpion in the mix as well, so leaves for some more ranged defense here against infantry units. We have 2 mangonels pushing, Slavs, mangonels, and quite a few knights in the mix here. This is an Empire War start, so it can be kind of off-putting for the players. You start in the middle of feudal age with 27 population already. And finally, Akkal-AOE has broken through, has now lots of knights to push, and Myzel, with his current stone count, is not really able to drop a castle to stop the siege push. Otherwise, if he could get the castle up, he would be in a great spot. But with the conversion, he has one knight of his own to deal with the mangonel push to some extent here. So monks working out to some extent here, but with a lucky hit with the mangonel here, we'll be seeing more than a few monks going down. One mangonel down to a converted knight here, so that's fine. Continuing the push here. It's 3 CCs and 2 TCs extremely close here for Myzel, but at least collecting the economy at one spot here. There's still a hill over it. This is actually a horrible map for Myzel. Hill here, 2 TCs right next to that hill, and if you could get a castle or some siege push from this side as well, it's just going to be the end of Myzel. So some crossbows left over here for Aksel the Great to push against the enemy units here. I wonder if Myzel has redemption. So he's converting a scorpion here for the greater good of his empire. Still quite a few knights to deal with here, and Aksel the Great with roughly the same build to numbers as Myzel. But look at the eco situation here. 74 villagers to 45. And yeah, overall eco situation here looking more stable for Aksel the Great, I'd say. They're both in the castle age and should be on equal amounts of town centers. I think we're with no, we were with 4 for Aksel actually, and Myzel with 3 town centers and not nearly as many farms or as good farms as Aksel the Great has here. Oh, but keeping the monks close like this, that's just begging for a mangonel shot in your face. But with redemption, you risk losing the mangonels as well, so that's good value for Myzel in that sense. But Aksel seems to have an equal to support the steady knight's flow, and now sends in some scout cavalry as well. There are some pikes from Myzel, but there's also a scorpion for Aksel the Great to deal with the pikes here from the other side. Myzel with some incredible defense here, though, makes use of the masked monks, loses quite a few of them though, so he's going to struggle for gold as the game goes on, I think. Still quite a bit of the main goal to go on, get some free knights through conversions, will be healing the map now. But meanwhile we see Aksel the Great preparing some kind of infantry of himself and going into forging for his knights for extra damage output, both for the knights and light cav as well. No, Aksel is not committing to the full walls here. He is the aggressor as the stabs here and has dealt some serious damage already. Just look at the KD. It's 66 to 58. And yeah, now we have some barracks going up. So Aksel going into men-at-arms swordsman line here against the admittedly strong pikes of Myzel here. So I think Aksel will be needing the attack upgrades as well. Let's see, he's going into forging now. Let's see if he goes for iron forging as well, just to make sure he has a chance to match the Burmese infantry units here. It's still going to be men-at-arms, long swords rather, against pikes, so it should be okay. And infantry is easier to mass in numbers out of multiple barracks like this. They cost less, so Myzel will have a harder time getting enough conversions in. Oh, sneaky mangonel shot there, get some damage in on the monks, but I think they have that... Okay, they might not have that HP upgrade in, actually. And looks like a converted mangonel here from Myzel doing work. Now taking back some control here, but here comes a castle for Aksel the Great to assume some more map control, to drop the gold mining camp and have some secure access to his side golds here. investing into stone. It could be that we will be seeing some boyars on the field as well from Aksel the Great here, because it's very heavily on stone. Or it could be just from map control, maybe to secure this hill and this woodland as well, to limit any raids or attack from Myzel. Myzel with a pretty solid military lead, though, 25 to 14, but is getting surprised by the castle that just went up here. Saves the Mongol, saves most of the army. But this time around, Myzel has only had time to snag one relic. Monks at work again. Some crossbows are a good mix against monks as well. If you can get some hits in, you'll almost snipe a monk. With the pikes, you can't really use light cap to snipe monks anymore, but with the crossbows, it's a different story. Myzel finally going for a counter-attack on some raids here, though, and gets another conversion in. Light cav, scout cav actually, trying to hit the monks there, but doesn't quite succeed. We have some longswords in the mix now, and some villagers in the group for some reason. Not always as easy to notice them, but what a cluster of an attack it is here. It's going to be Myzel's fight. I think Myzel going for the Imperial Age here. So he has stabilized this. He is behind in villagers, sure. But he is going to be the first one to the Imperial Age, and if Myzel can somehow get a castle down, and there we go, there's the castle. He's going to contest this castle with his earlier tribes. And right now seems to be in a good spot. 30 to 1 military. Amazing defense from Myzel to be able to hold this, keep the score somewhat even, and finally go for some raids on Aksel's economy, who for the time being isn't actually providing enough army to the field. Okay. 23 to 10 now. Aksel still in a castle age, but he could also consider committing to full castle age here, given his current economy. Could try and outmaster the Burmese player. The castle is up for Myzel though, and yeah, not really going into the iron buy here, committing to more monks. It's going to be a monks and some kind of siege push here. He actually converted the forward siege workshop in the end. I didn't think about that, but he used his monks to convert the forward siege workshop instead of destroying it, although it's been taking some damage along the way. Lots of slabs, longswords on the way now though, but they will run into a castle here that Aksel doesn't know about just yet. Finally, Aksel on the way to the Imperial Age as well, with roughly equal military numbers now, but since both are going mainly for infantry here and Myzel with some monks as well, it's all in all stronger military for the Slavs player. I think Myzel could still turn this around. The populations are pretty darn even now. Only 7 villagers lead for Aksel the Great, and the ecos not looking too dissimilar either. Myzel floating more food, surprisingly enough, against the Slavs here, but Aksel is also committing a lot to infantry attacks, getting handcart for even a more efficient eco collection, and yeah. Meanwhile, Myzel is getting cap tram and infantry defense, and he's going to play the Burmese infantry to the full potential here. Starting the Treb Wars, 1 Treb battering away. Not much Aksel can do about that right now, but once he reaches Imperial Age, he will have 2 castles to produce Trebs from, and his wood and gold eco certainly allows for Trebs creation here. Little bit of pikes on this side. They have been chased by a lion, but this woman goes down. No outpost for Aksel the Great on this side, trying to claim some map control here, whereas Myzel is going for the relics, and seeing the monk here might actually contest Aksel's villagers on this side as well. Those are actually 4+5 pikes, so they should snipe villagers rather easily here. Yep, that's 5 hits to take down a villager with only 3 pikes there. Pretty efficient. One castle at risk of going down, but I think Aksel keeps this one up, and current situation very even here between the players. 98 to 87, and slightly more military for Aksel the Great. The difference being Aksel the Great queuing 2 trebs right away and will start contesting this treb war, whereas Myzel isn't really in a spot to drop another castle just yet. He's extending his eco behind the stone walls to the side there, basically playing his own little arena here, and for here come some capped rams with pikes inside to finally finish this castle, unfortunately before the treb can even come out. So that's a bit of an unfortunate blow to Aksel the Great here. Both are going into 200 swordsmen here now, but I think Aksel the Great needs Drushina here in the end to even out against Burmese military, because Burmese will have so much more attack. We're currently at +2, 9+2 against 9+7 attack here, so that is 5 more attack for the Burmese player. Army numbers could be something as well here, and let's look at the Slavs eco. Yeah, 46 on food and 17 on gold should be decent. Going into some siege workshops here as well, maybe thinking about adding some scorpions here, but you need to address these capped rams moving forward from Myzel as well. Pretty strong pike halberdier push coming forward from Myzel right now, considering that his infantry has 12+7. Iron Buy on the field, that is actually a good call against enemy infantry, but you need masses. Only 3 or 4 or 5 of them won't really make a difference here. Myzel getting ballistics now. I think that is main. Well, it's for both the Iron Buy and the castles actually, so it applies to both the units and structures here. 54 to 50 military, pretty equal military numbers here now, but Aksel the Great, unless he can get some scorpions or something on the field here, or significantly higher masses of infantry, is going to struggle against the Burmese push here. Champions are in though for Aksel the Great. That's not the case for Myzel yet. Leaves Aksel the Great's infantry with 13+2 against the halbs with 6+7, so almost same attack, but they are halbs with, let's see, less HP and less armor, so... Well, actually not less armor, but less HP, less hit points. So the champions will obviously win this engagement. Myzel did spend a lot into monks earlier as well. He's still with wood, food and gold in the bank here, and taking some serious map control. Another defensive cast there, going to protect this golden stone, and TC on the side gold here. I was going to say Myzel might run out of gold before Aksel does, but from the looks of it, Myzel is going to keep forwarding here to keep Aksel off his base and protect his current income. Populations are still pretty similar though, and Aksel the Great with lower eco in the bank overall is being idled a lot here and losing villagers as well, and that's never a good sign. This is actually beginning to look like Myzel's game. So, bit too forward this trebuchet though allows Aksel the Great to hit her. Hello, Lucas Gamer TTV. Nice to see what I think are new names stopping by. Don't remember everyone, unfortunately, but anyway, hello to you as well. I'm casting the Norwegian Community tournament, Silver League Finals right now. And we're in game 4, and it looks like it will go to a 3-1 for Myzel here, but you never know. They're pretty even in populations here. It's dead even villager count, and with the Slavs farms, that food eco should work wonders for Aksel as opposed to Myzel here. My friends called me 007, 0 castle, 0 extra town centers, 7 idle builders. Ouch! Sounds rough. See, we're with 3 rams here. Might be sending some champions inside the rams here for some protection against the for the rams to move forward. But we're fighting Slavs infantry here against Burmese infantry. And let me just check Aksel's upgrades here. I don't think he can afford Drushina because that's a real expensive one, 1200 food, 500 gold. But I think also that's what he needs here. Potentially also the hold on, blast furnace, which is missing for some extra damage output. That's crucial here against fully upgraded Burmese champions, to have at least the full upgrade on your own champions here. So that should certainly be prioritized by Aksel the Great here. But from the looks of his economy right now, he's barely even able to afford villagers. So I think Myzel's incredible monk and redemption defense here against the Knights and Siege Bush of Aksel the Great is working out. Myzel is going to take the late game here, getting, I think that's block printing for the monks now for even further range, and continuing the push forward here as Aksel is losing villagers, almost 10 villagers down now, and Myzel with 40 more military overall. +7 champions here. They're going to shred these buildings. I bet Myzel might even have arson research. Let's have a quick look if he does. Yeah, he does. So he'll take out buildings even more quickly as well with his upgrades. Not to underestimate Burmese, apparently. They have a very versatile factory. You're only missing the archery line upgrade. Aksel has some gold access over here and some very exposed eco, so he's not giving in just yet. But judging from all the blue on the map here, this is looking strong for Myzel. One TC goes down to Trebs and Champions here. And yeah, very exposed farm eco to the north here. No TCs to flee to here. This is the only one. And with Trebs pushing, you can't really stand a chance. Aksel the Great calls the GG. And we'll have a 3-1 for Myzel. So overall, in the end, stronger score in every sense for Myzel here. 2 castles for both players, more text research for Myzel, stronger economy. That's the most surprising one to me against Slabs with their crazy farms. 354 to 277 here. And yeah, more food for the Slabs player. The farms work faster, shouldn't be a surprise there. Uptimes. Earlier, Imp did buy Myzel an edge there. That provides the infantry attack upgrades, and monk techs freed up as well, so gives you and the trap board lead as well. The castle actually hid away from Aksel's point of view there. And finally we have the relic gold playing into Myzel's favor here as well. He seemed I was wondering if he would struggle for gold after investing so much into monks, but with 4 relics obviously you have some more gold income to sustain your production from what you're doing.